What's up, my soul squad? Welcome to Saving One Soul at a Time podcast with your host, your girl, Black Angel. I told y'all I had something special from y'all from the last episode. So, here we live for 5, which means we live. And I got special guests in the building with your girl. But we live for episode 5. So, to dig back in on part 1 from part 2 on how to gauge a healthy relationship, I have Tori and I have Geno in the building today. And first, I'm gonna introduce Tori. She is the owner and founder of Converse and Conversations. She's also the founder of CPR, which is a upcoming movement that she's doing that's inspiring women and motivating women on a whole different spiritual level. So I'm gonna let her tell us a little bit about herself, and then I'm gonna introduce y'all to Geno, and then we're gonna dive right in and let's talk about what y'all been want to know about these relationships. So Tori, how you doing today? Thank you for being my cast. And I am so grateful to have you a part of this. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
First of all, I just want to say thank you so much for the invitation. I'm so humbled. Like, I know this is a blessing to just be here and be a part of your vision and whatever God got going, and His purpose for you in your life. And so I'm just so excited to just be here. But yeah, a little bit about myself. My name is Tori. I'm a Dallas native, born and raised in Dallas. I am a mother of 2 beautiful girls. I am the founder of Converse and Conversation, like you were stating before, which is just a support group for women to show up and be encouraged, to have a safe place to be honest and to free themselves in a safe, non-judgment atmosphere. Just here recently this year, I newly founded a prayer group and support group that's really for everybody. You can bring your mama, your sister, your dog. I welcome everybody. It is a prayer group that is in place for support as well. And there, it's really just to have community, for people to have somebody to lean on, somewhere to be encouraged, somewhere to be uplifted, and that's pretty much both of my what I do day to day. I am corporate, doing them up in the day, and I'm working on purpose at night. So
That's
that's a
right.
little bit about me. I'm just so excited to be here. I thank you so much for the invitation.
Thank you so much. See, y'all, I'm telling y'all, like, the mission is Jesus,
Yes, yes.
and I
Hmm.
thank you for taking the invitation and accepting it, because
Yeah.
I had to think over it. I asked different friends. I asked certain friends. These friends gave off different friends. And, I just prayed and I'm like, God, who? And He laid you on my heart. And the fact that you
Hmm.
accepted the invitation, knowing that, um, from your transition and what you are evolving in, I really,
Yeah.
really appreciate this, especially being my first one where I've had someone actually on the actual show. I mean, the podcast. So
Yeah.
thank you
Yeah.
so much for accepting the invite.
Thank you.
You're
Yes. Thank
welcome. You're
you.
welcome. And then we have
Thank you. Thank
Geno.
you.
And y'all, if y'all don't know who Geno is my fiance, my
Yay.
crazy second half, okay? Because you got to be crazy to love crazy, okay? But he is gonna be here to speak up for the men today, because of course it ain't just about us women. We all need to be healed, women and men. And he's gonna be the voice for y'all today. So the things that we gonna be discussing, he gonna be giving his input. But tell us a little bit about yourself, G, and who you are.
What's up, everybody? As she said, I'm Geno. That's my fiance. Uh, and first, I'm from Fort Worth, born and raised. Moved out here to AZ.
That's another
Uh,
story, y'all.
yeah, that's long down the road, and we for sure got to talk about that. But yeah, God sent me out here to AZ. Everything has flourished since then. Of course, it's been trials and tribulations, but the good always outweigh the bad. So
Mhm.
just been here, creating content, working on my music, producing, like how Tori said, corporate during the day, working in the mortgage industry, and
Mhm.
at night, just either researching how to make stuff better or making stuff better. And so
That's
that's
good.
pretty much it. And so I'm ready to dive into these questions. See, I ain't got no insight. I ain't seen the questions, so gonna be
Woo.
justice. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, so I'm ready to dive in and let's get
Woo.
to it.
So y'all, we talk
Oh.
about a lot. Me and him talk about a lot, but he basically offered and agreed to help me with this episode because I was having so many questions about it. I was like, "Oh, how do I was like, I don't want to just put my input. Like, I need some other people input." So I was like, "So how many girls should I have, or should I just have girls?" And he was like, "No, baby, you should do some men too, because you don't want it to be like it's just you against the men and then they get the wrong concept." I'm like, "You know what? You right." I'm like, "Okay," and I'm like, "So what you saying?" He was like, "I was like, you would do it." And he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it." I'm like, okay, I'm like, but who I'm gonna get as a girl? So like I say, I went through the whole spiel of this person, and God gave me Tori, and it's perfect. So y'all, we gonna dive right back. We gonna just dive right in. And this is part 2 on how to gauge a healthy relationship. And y'all, there was so much questions about it, and so many people that have issues with stating that they don't have friends. How do you have so many friends? Like, how do you forgive? Like, it's so much that comes to relationships. And back to previous episodes that I have already spoke about, most relationships fail because of an expectations that the individual has put upon that person. But Tori, what do you feel, and how do you feel about healthy relationship? What gauges a healthy relationship for you?
Ooh, healthy relationships. Um, I'm actually so glad that that I'm being asked this now because from a healthy place.
That's right.
I feel like healthy relationships first have to be centered around God. They just have to be,
Gotta be.
because if you don't really know who you are, if you don't really know what your purpose is in life, then you'll just kind of live a life in a facade. Like you just live however, whatever you're around, you become that. So that's not really true to who you are. So then you really can't be a good wife, a good sister, friend. You can't even do well at work if you don't know who you are. And I think you can only find that through God. So that's number one. That's what I would say is number one. I think healthy relationships is having trust. I feel like a lot of people from my own experience is like I feel like people are not safe. They don't trust the people that they claim they love. They don't trust the friendships. A lot of people struggle right amongst their friends, and they don't know. And I always wonder, like, how is that happening to someone, and they right around their husband or their girlfriend or their sister or their friend? How are you struggling or going through, and I don't know? And I think it's trust. I think it's safety. I think people don't have safety. Too afraid. I think judgment does that to people, where you don't let people show up, as themselves without like pointing the finger and belittling or judging them. So people don't, which is why I think they isolate and they're not friends. But you got to have trust. You got to have respect. You got to have honesty. You got to have God centered around it.
Yeah.
I really think that is, if you have those things, in a healthy, when you're looking to try to be healthy, I think if you even just start there, I think it will start to attract those relationships. I think, but you got to have that alone. You can't go looking for that from people. You have to be that. Everything that you are attracting is coming from something that's inside of you. If you lack trust for yourself, you're not happy with who you are, you probably won't, you won't have trust in relationships.
Yeah.
You won't have safety with people. So those are just a few things I think that you just have to have in order to try to have something healthy. or a healthy relationship, no matter who it's with.
And on a man perspective, what do you feel just being a man and being already, a different gender and y'all emotions and physical and spiritual and mentally, abilities are different from a woman. How do you feel in reference to what a healthy relationship is for a man? And as far as marriage, friendship, just for a man, period.
Um, I think from a man perspective, all those things that Tori listed are the same things that we look for. I just think that they prioritize different.
Mm,
Um,
that's
I
good.
think that for men, uh, respect will probably come before anything else. You know,
Wow.
we will look for that because that's how we reciprocate. Showing that someone loves us is by the respect level.
Mm-hmm.
And that's in any type of relationship. If you're on the street and you see a man and he treats you with respect, okay, right there, that man, he means no harm to me. I keep it moving. But if disrespect comes into place, that's how you gauge how healthy that interaction, any type of relationship is.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things also that sort of hinder a relationship being healthy is forgiveness. And
Mm,
I think that that's forgiveness of both the past and of yourself. Like a lot of things we harp on in our mind over and over, and it may not even be something that is, but then it'll create and mildew in your heart that way that now you are operating in that space without even forgiving yourself, and now that relationship has to suffer from something you've done internally or something that you haven't let go that should have been already thrown
mm,
away in the trash, but now it's
right.
stinking up your relationship.
Mm,
And so I think that
Dang,
that's
so
that's something
that's
like
so
that.
good.
so with the forgiveness part of it,
That's so
that's
good.
that I feel like that is real major in
Mm-hmm.
in relationships. That's
Yeah.
amazing that you state that the forgiveness part of it, because I had one of my soul squads ask me why why do women forgive their man but won't forgive their friend. And I swear, y'all, that was a low blow for me. Because
Mm-hmm.
not a low blow because I have experienced it, but a low blow because I have seen it happen firsthand, and that's a difficult for one for me to understand as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
as a man, do y'all go through that where you feel like y'all will forgive y'all woman before y'all forgive y'all friend?
No, I don't even really think that is in comparison because we tend to let stuff go sooner. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily. I think in reference to the question from the Soul Squad, as far as in my understanding is that it tends to take women longer times to forgive versus a man. Now women will forgive but not necessarily forget. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it seems though if they do have that interaction with their friends or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know. That's just me on the outside looking in. But as far as for a man, um, I don't think that we necessarily forgive our women before we forgive our men, our homies. Um, I think it's all situational.
Mm-hmm.
Some things you can't, like if somebody forgets to call me and everybody goes out, I can forgive that versus you stealing from me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's my woman or a friend. So I think that as far as the forgiveness, the rapidness of forgiveness for me is situational for men. I don't think it's necessarily a man versus my woman versus my homies.
And how do you feel in reference to it,
That's
Tori?
good.
Have you had to experience that, or have you had anyone who has experienced that? And because it was, like I said, it was difficult for me more so of being able to give a true answer to it, because I thank God that I have never been in a decision to have to even worry about that.
Mhm. Mhm.
um
Right.
I feel like there shouldn't be boundaries crossed with friendship or relationship, your fiance, your marriage. You know what I'm saying? My
Mhm.
friends should understand this is hubby, and my hubby should understand that this is friends. You know what I mean? And
Right.
forgiveness is across the board for me. You know,
Mhm.
I don't care if it's for my man or my friend. If it's wrong, it's wrong. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
if it hurt me, I need to express that and forgive you for that hurt. And I'm praying that that won't happen again. But I don't care if it's friend or man. I feel like they should be forgiven the same. What is your input
Right.
in reference to that?
Yeah, I think forgiveness, it doesn't have a face. I
Yeah.
think for the Soul Squad, the person who actually asked that question, I think it would have to come from. I think it's personal. It's kind of like what Geno said. It's situational.
Situational.
I definitely think that forgiveness should be, like you said, across the board. But I do feel like maybe perhaps why women forgive their mates faster than their friends is because we're just more emotional. And it's so good that Gino said that men just don't, they just don't care about all that. Men don't get,
Yeah.
you know, they just don't get riled up with emotion. Like if you didn't show up, they cool on it. It's just women. It's us. We have this nurturing, emotional, sensitivity that I don't think men carry, and most men just don't care about the things we care about. So in that situation with, the person who had the question, I think it's probably it's in your heart, it's in your feelings, it's kind of whatever you're going through with that friend. And then I think a lot of time, man, offense is so of when it comes to forgiveness, offense is like the worst thing that causes rotting up, with forgiveness, because we are internally offended, but we never say anything, which
Mm.
which ultimately turns into a spiral of all
Resent.
this stuff.
Yeah.
That it resentment, animosity, silent animosity. That's the killer.
Ooh,
Like
That's the
because I'm
worst.
man.
quiet, yeah, and I'm hurting, and instead of me, so now when I see you forgive your man, it's really you just forgive. You may have done forgive gave him 10 times. That person don't even know, and they don't know what your behind the doors behind the in your home, what's happening for you. But I think it's offense that makes you think that way. It's holding whatever that is that you've held in with that friend, instead of just having the conversation, that kind of spirals into that feeling. I think if you're honest, kind of going back to what I said with healthy, I think if you can be honest, and say, listen, when I do this to you, I feel some type of way. I feel like when Rashad do it, or, whoever, like, I feel like you forgive him. But when I do so, it's having conversation.
Yeah.
It's getting
Difficult
back to
ones at
healthy.
that. That's
Yeah, you
right.
got to get back to healthy. Now we got to get to honesty. Like if we're friends, then say that to me, but I don't think it's a men versus women. I think God said forgiveness is forgiveness.
That's right.
He didn't, and he didn't say that you have to, if you're my friend, or, like you said, with you and your, like, I'm giving everybody the clean slate. Everybody is up against this one thing,
Yeah.
I think it's emotional though. I really do. I just think with women, we're catty, we're upset, we're emotional. Sometimes we're hurting. We wear our hearts on our sleeves. Men don't. They're taught to be strong, cover it, hide it. You'll get through it. Keep pushing. Go make some money.
That's
Women,
right.
we just got time. Women just got time to be, and then they gonna call somebody, and somebody gonna make it worse,
Mm.
and it's just a spiral. I don't think it should be drug out that bad. But if you don't have honesty in the relationship, friendship, or whoever,
Whoever. That's
you don't
right.
get to tell your friend. You don't get to tell your friend, I'm offended, friend. Friend, that kind of hurt me. And so
Yeah.
you don't, and you harbor malice, and there it goes. That's what it spirals into.
Well, y'all heard it from both of the mouths itself. once again, the question threw me off, but the question is so real because I hear it way so often in the women's world.
Hmm.
We
Yeah.
hear I hear it a lot. And to each Geno's and Tori's point, I don't know if it's situational, the personal aspects of it, what caused it to get to that point. But y'all, I'ma always tell y'all, like I always say, you gotta always self evaluate yourself.
Yeah.
It always
Hmm.
starts with self. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? What did you do? What was done? Was you trustworthy? Were you, you know, uh, was you truthful? Or was you authentic? Period. Or whatever,
Yeah.
did you play a part in whatever the forgiveness play? We have to be accountable for when we fall short as well. Because
Hmm.
everybody ain't so forgiving. It's supposed to
They're
be
not.
you to honest God truth. The word is that an unforgiving heart does not come into is not welcome into the kingdom of heaven.
Yeah.
So at the
Yeah.
end of the day, that's the truth. That's what the words say. You have to forgive, and I know it's one of the easiest things. I'm just saying it like it's easy, but once you start doing it, that's how easy it become. But until then, you gonna continue to grow resentment, like Tori say, envy,
Hmm.
jealousy over something that you don't even have to resent because it's
Yeah.
already been forgiven.
Right. And I
So
can, if I could, and I would just add to that, I think also, like, if you are, you cannot judge a friendship against a relationship, a romantic relationship.
Yeah.
You
that's
already
right.
lost. So
That's
you
real.
already lose coming in and saying, well, you forgave your husband or your fiance over me. Like, well, first of all, we are not, these are two separate relationships.
That's
The
right.
intimacy that you have with your mate is in depth. It's deeper than my friendship. Like, I love you. You're my homegirl. I'm gonna be here for you. But you don't hold me at night. You don't pray with me when we are struggling and having to go through storms. This is who I'm with. So I think even just putting those two together,
It don't
it
even
just kind
match.
of, it doesn't. No, it's two separate. I get forgiveness as a whole should be a plain slate, but I think to compare and say you forgave a relationship or your mate over me, it would never ride because I lay with this person. I am intimate. I am here. I am there. We are touch. We are here. It's not the same. It's just not the comparison. I think to have because you're just not my man. you know, and we're going through something totally different in this relationship than this friendship. You know, that we're just it's two separate people, two separate relationships to compare them. To be compared to for sure.
I
That's real.
agree. I agree.
Hmm.
I thank y'all for both of those feedbacks. So
Yeah.
to sum it up, and just to get y'all input, how do you set boundaries to avoid setting expectations on people? Because once again, when I started y'all, I tell y'all most relationships fail because of expectations. We want people, of course, y'all. I understand. We want people to treat us how we treat people. Just realistically, though, y'all, across the board, we may not
Hmm.
get it. We all know that.
Right.
So, how do you set a boundary? And any one of y'all can answer first. How do you set a boundary to avoid setting expectations so the person won't continue to keep failing because you setting the expectations that should have never been is set on that person?
That's so good. So good. Um, I think you got to know your worth. I just
Mm,
really
Yeah.
believe you got to
mm,
know your worth.
dang,
If you don't know who you are, if you don't
dang.
believe in yourself, if you don't think you all that, I mean, like, if you don't have security in yourself, then ain't no such thing as a boundary. I mean, there won't be none because it will always be contingent on whatever I can feel or whatever, gives me a high, and so they will never be set. I mean, so you'll
Dang,
always have
man.
these false expectations. You'll always believe that, oh, he's going to be good this time, or even with somebody showing you
Woo.
themselves. And I always tell people, I said, let people come in and be exactly who they are. Don't come in telling them I don't like men that call me after 10, and I like my man to wear cologne. And stop giving people your to-do list. Let people come in being extremely bare in who they are, because
Yeah.
they'll show you. You don't have to go and make all these expectations. You just really got to love yourself. And
Mm.
loving yourself is
Mm-mm-mm.
going to be the boundary. Loving yourself will be that. And so once you love yourself, I don't disrespect myself. I don't let people talk to me crazy. So now I know for a fact my expectation with you is, if you disrespectful, that's automatic. No, I don't have to really be going back and forth and having these faults. Like, oh well, he was just mad this time. It's all right. No, I love me. I'm worthy of respect. So I'm gonna give it. And if I don't get it, I don't have to say I'm gonna give you another chance to cuss me out, or or I'm a, just hopefully they're changing. I hope. You let people be themselves. You let them come in and be extreme. You make it comfortable for people to be safe around you, so you can really see them for who they are. And then you just gotta
And
love
then you
yourself.
handle it
You really have to
accordingly.
love yourself.
That's
Yeah,
right.
once you love yourself, you will. But people get in those falsehoods and they start setting these expectations, and they aren't even the stuff. You gotta also look at yourself and say, what I'm expecting, do I give? You know,
Mm.
Now
That's
that's real.
real.
the
That's what
things
I
that
be,
I'm expecting.
man.
Yeah, before I start telling you I want you to make this kind of money and you need to make sure you do this to me, what do I do? Yeah, what do I do? And I think that'll stop people from false expectations. Right there, that right there is stop. That's 50% right there. you
That's
know
real.
yeah, so yeah, loving yourself for sure. And then
Man, that's real.
looking at the mirror, before you start expecting these things from people that you can't produce yourself.
That's real. Yeah, one of my new mottos and gonna be my favorite motto is, "It's not what people see you in front while you in front of them. It's what they see when they not looking. When it's only you.
Yeah.
What
Mhm.
who are you then?
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
integrity.
Who
Who are
are
you
you? That's
then?
so good.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah. So
Mhm.
most definitely, what do you feel as far as being a man with those boundaries? Because I know, you know, men can they smooth riders. They don't
Hmm.
have to set no
Mhm.
boundaries. They can just go with the flow. But at the same time, have a feeling though,
Yeah.
and have an in bottle feeling that we don't know until it come out, and it's like, well, you didn't tell me this. I thought you
Right.
was chilling.
Right.
Oh wow. That's
So
good.
how do you? What is your input?
I think as far as that goes, yeah, you're right. We do got to start speaking up, so that those revealings of our feelings aren't so sporadic and so shocking. You know what I'm saying? Like it
Mhm.
has to be
That's good.
it has to be more frequent so it doesn't seem so random or so output, and then in our mind first thing we think of is, okay, she think I'm crazy cuz
Wow.
I don't never say this kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And the reaction is probably that of help or of assistance, but sometimes what we internalize or see it as of this is abnormal, it's not being received the correct way, and then we retreat. You know what I'm saying? Point blank.
Yeah. Mhm.
And so with that being said, I think that is true. We have to. That's the first step. But along with what Tori was saying, it also comes with people have to look at the situation and say, A, how is this affecting me? And B, if it never changes, am I okay with it?
Hmm.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
That's my favorite.
Mhm.
When we
And
first
so,
started talking, what
like
I say?
seriously, like I would say,
Yeah.
we would both say, if I don't change, I understand you may, but if this don't change, are you still able to love me?
Wow.
And that's something that's real, because a lot of people will sit here, and I'm guilty of it, of trying to be like, okay, well, maybe one day maybe one
Oof.
day, and you fall in love with
Listen.
this fairy tale of any situation of
Yeah.
maybe one day my boss is go respect me. He go, no, this man is showing you he do not respect you. Like,
Respect you. Hmm.
just take it as what it is and handle the situation accordingly, as y'all said. It's like sometimes you fall in love with the illusion of certain situations to where you only end up hurting yourself versus actually helping the situation. If you just took it as it is
Right.
and moved accordingly, or took it as it is and said something to the person, they may change it. You know what I'm saying? Or you may be able to
Hmm.
work towards getting to a middle ground to where y'all are both happy. You know what I'm saying? So I
Right.
think that that's the big thing. I think that reality is the best boundary to set. Like, be
Wow. Wow.
hopeful, hopeful for the future, but be in the present as well. That's what I
Wow.
think.
Mm.
Oh
Dang, I didn't know you was gonna
my
sum it up
gosh.
like that though.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. But be in the present. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But be hopeful. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a huge delusion. We get delusional.
Oh
I am.
yeah.
I've been there. I've
Yeah.
been there. I think, and people are afraid to say that.
Yeah.
There's no healing until people are honest.
Until you able to
You
say
Right.
got to
it.
have some,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Until you have some breakout people that are normal, that look just like us, that come from where we come from. Because everybody hiding it. Everybody acting like they got it together, but nobody's honest and saying, you know what, I was a little delusional.
yeah.
Because I
Right.
cannot believe I thought
Okay.
that this person was going, admittance,
Nah, for
confession. I mean, it's
real.
something about the truth. Really, people think it's cliche, but the truth really sets you free.
It
Yeah.
Like,
do.
and it really does. I know people just throw that little term and that little cliche, like, yeah, no, it really does. Because you really have to sit with yourself and say, man, I was delusional. Why did I even think that this person was going to show me something different? I've learned in my life, especially like as I've healed and got closer to God, that I look at patterns. I don't listen to nothing.
You
I
go
look
you
at
act straight
patterns.
action. Yeah, that's real.
Yeah, I gotta, cause in your patterns is what you really do.
That's
Like, I
real.
could say a lot of words, but if your pattern never changes, then a lot of times that ain't for me to fix. Like that, you gotta go to God.
That's
See, and I
right.
think we get in a place of
Where we
wanting
thinking
to
we can
fix a pattern.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, like only God can disrupt patterns.
That's
Not even
right.
you, the sweetest person, the most loving person, with
That's
all your
real.
time and love and affection. Like, you cannot change somebody who has an illness. And I don't mean to damper and say like the people are ill, but it's almost like a disease. Like,
It
some
is.
people, until it's interjected, like with God fixing them, ain't no human form gonna come in there and do nothing. Not
Right.
even the sweetest and nicest and most loving person. Some people, really, you got to turn them loose for a while and
Yeah.
say, nah, you got to kind of get yourself together. But we live in this illusion. And like he said, our hope for tomorrow, and oh, we know he or she is going to get better. And we live in that, and you look up and it's 10 years later.
Mm.
It's 10 years later, and you have lost nothing but time. Just a lot of time and a lot of hope. I feel like people, when you set healthy boundaries, I feel like people who are supposed to be in your life, they come correct. Like,
That's
yeah, we
real.
have mistakes. We have mistakes, and we're all learning. None of us are perfect, but people who with intention, who are supposed to be in your life, they will see like, this hurts this person. I gotta try to correct this. And then I even feel like love
Mm.
will make a man, like he was saying, like, men sometimes they do hold in all their, like, I'm not gonna say nothing yet because I don't want her to think I'm fussing, or they care for us, so they're gonna try to, I ain't gonna say that they really bother me, but I'm gonna let her make it. And I think in safety and in healthy, we got to come out of that,
Yeah.
because what happens is when you silence an outside war, you bring on the war inside.
Yeah.
Mm.
You
Dang.
have to target. You got to target stuff immediately when you feel it.
That's
Let me
real.
tell you why you have to, because the devil, I'm telling you, the enemy, he know, oh, you offended by that. Your fiance said that to you, and look at you looking in the mirror. You feeling
Mm.
like you inadequate. See, and,
Mm.
and so what he thrives on is, yeah, keep it to yourself. Don't say nothing to her yet. That's him.
Yeah.
God is truth. He is honest. It's not. I'm not hiding it from you, babe. You know that offended me today. That bothered me, and I gotta say it now. I don't, because if I don't say it to you, then I leave open the conversation to be had with the enemy
Right.
first.
Ooh.
And
Man.
now I'm sitting here
Girl.
stuck. Cause now my husband ain't did nothing. My boyfriend, he ain't did nothing. But I done drove all the way to work. with a lot of other voices saying, he did it on purpose. Or she disregarded me. My girl didn't even notice. No, and people are just living, and some of that ain't even really true.
Right.
And honesty got to get you to the point, like, hey, expectation. Listen, this is, babe, that hurt me, and I'm hurting. I expect this of you, and we got to tell the truth. We got to say it. We got to say when we're offended. We got to speak our real boundaries. Listen, I love you. You don't got no job this week, but if you don't have a job in 7 months, it's gonna bother me.
That's real. But you
I
know
mean,
what?
I mean that's real.
Yeah, I know, but
Like,
that's
that's
real.
real.
Yeah,
That's
you gotta
real.
most definitely step into a whole nother foreign realm to be able to,
Yes.
and the person that you actually commuting with has to be able to do that as well. I mean, because
Yes.
honestly, y'all, when God give me the truth, I'm gonna be honest, it never feel good. I be hating it.
It
I'm
never
like,
do.
dang, you just cold hard just gave it to me like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, the truth is not gonna always feel good because we don't know how to be able to tell ourselves the truth and really be accountable for it. Some of us do. When you
Yeah.
are connected and you understand how to be accountable for the decisions that you make, you be accountable for your actions. But unfortunately,
Right.
a lot of us don't. We act in flesh, in self.
We do.
And that's the selfishness that's in us. So
Right.
we have to be able to either accept it when it does come at us, if you know it's you and that's what it is, or you have to be able to tell yourself. So if you can't tell yourself, you need to accept it when it comes to somebody else, and it may not come how you want it to come, but it's the truth, and you have to be able
Right.
to accept the truth.
Right. I agree. I totally agree with that.
One thing that I was told this week, I don't think who I told. I think my mama told me this, that we need to start handling everybody with grace.
Wow.
Oh, mama told you that. Yeah.
Both
Yeah.
both saying and like in this situation, I have to handle with grace that okay, she's not or they're not taking this the wrong way. I can't
Yes.
automatically go to the negative. And then the person that's receiving it has to take it in grace that this person is being vulnerable and telling me this, man or
Yes.
woman, because it's pride for women as much as it's pride for men.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
it takes women just as much sometimes humbleness to tell their feelings as it does a man. So I don't think it's necessarily that divide. I think both, whatever interaction, both has to be led with grace to where
Yes.
receiving and sending, so that when you operate in grace, you already at the floor level. So y'all already there both to serve each other to figure this out. Nobody
Yeah.
looking down on each other, you know?
Yes.
So
Yes.
I think that's one of the biggest things that we got to lead with
Man, that's so good.
in these interactions. But that's all I
Yeah.
got.
Yeah, we talked about it, I want the comments to keep coming. I want the questions to keep coming. Y'all input, like I need y'all topics. Like this is what keep us going. Like this was amazing to have both of
Yes,
their
it
voice
was.
on and to be able to hear a man aspect and a woman aspects and even my aspects. Was amazing. It was just to be able to show you that, we all started at the same place, but we all headed to the same place as well. And that's just making sure that everything that is done with a pure intention. Pure intention,
Yes.
And that's something that you have to work on every day because our flesh was
Yes.
naturally born into this sinful world. Okay?
Yes.
So
I
y'all,
agree.
baby, do you want to end us with a prayer? And then we'll just, get on up out of here.
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
All right.
All right, everybody, bow your heads. If you driving, don't bow your head. Just listen. All right. All right. God, we just first come thanking you, God, for everything. Thank you for all blessings, seen and unseen, God. Everything that you provided for us. Lord God, we just come right now. Thank you for this conversation, for this fellowship, for this bringing together of minds to reach and save one soul at a time, God. I just pray right now that the word is delivered and the word is received, like as we said, with grace, God. We are no higher than anybody, Lord. We are all, Lord, and here just to serve and to use our words as a valley and a vessel for you, God. So be with us. Pray that everybody stays safe, has a blessed, productive week. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
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 So my soul squad, I thank y'all so much for tuning in. Thank you so much again, Tori, for just being available. Like, y'all, literally, I called her yesterday. She was ready today at 8 o'clock on the dot. So, and y'all, literally, like, y'all, me and Tori haven't talked. Like, we hearing her on social media, and we talk, like, through passing and social media, y'all. But, like, literally, we haven't talking, like, y'all, what God would do for you. Like, I called her up yesterday, and she was available for me for today. And like we 2004 classmates. Like she 2004, I'm 3. Like, so y'all, God is moving. You know, if you don't believe me, just watch. And I want y'all to be a part of this wisdom, y'all. But we got to put that knowledge into action. And you got to be able to receive it, embrace it, and trust the process. It's an everyday walk. So thank you again, Tori, for tuning in to Saving One Soul at a Time podcast. Geno, I thank you for sitting it out for the man in the building. Geno, my first live for Vibe. With your girl, Blacc Angel. I see y'all later. I love y'all. Bye.